Hello again guys, this is Afan and now I'm going to show you something that took case for police that's really interesting that you know your father or grandpa knows. So first we go to Mozilla Firefox, then we gotta type Google, and then just write Lindbergh case. Okay, now you can type any of them, but let's go with the wiki. Okay, A. Lindbergh kidnapping. The kidnapping of Charles Augustus Lindbergh, Jr., the son of famous aviator Charles Lindbergh and Anne Morrow Lindbergh, was one of the most highly publicized crimes of the 20th century. The 20-month-old toddler was abducted from his family home in East Amwell, New Jersey, near the town of Hopewell, New Jersey, and on the evening of March 1, 1932, over 2 months later, on May 12, 1932, his body was discovered a short distance from the Lindberghs' home. Medical examination determined that the cause of death was a massive skull fracture. After an investigation that lasted more than 2 years, Bruno Richard Hoffman was arrested and charged with the crime. In a trial that was held from January to February 13, 1935, Hoffman was found guilty of murder in the first degree and sentenced to death. He was executed by electric chair at the New Jersey State Prison on April 3, 1956 and 8:40 and in 8:44 in the evening. Hoffman proclaimed his innocence to the end. Newspaper writer H. L. Mencken called the kidnapping and subsequent trial the biggest story since the resurrection. The crime sparked Congress to pass the Federal Kidnapping Act, commonly called the Lindbergh Law, which made transporting and kidnapping victims across state lines a federal crime. See, this is the image, okay, for the missing data. And okay, now let's go to just go to here the interesting the unknown. The discovery of the body. On May 15, 1933, delivery truck driver William Allen Cook is struck to the side of a road about 4.5 miles or 7.2 kilometers from the Lindbergh home. He went to a grove of trees to relieve himself, and there he discovered the body of a toddler. Allen notified police who took the body to a morgue in nearby Trenton, New Jersey. The body was badly decomposed, and it was discovered that the skull was badly fractured. The left leg and both hands were missing, and there were signs that the body had been chewed on by various animals, as well as indications that someone had made an attempt to hastily bury the body. Lindbergh and Co. quickly identified the body as the missing infant based on the overlapping toes of the right foot and the shirt that Co. had made for the baby. They surmised that the child had been killed by a blow to the head. Mr. Lindbergh was insisted on having the body cremated afterward. Once the U.S. Congress learned that the child was dead, legislation was rushed, making kidnapping a federal crime. The FBI could now aid the case more directly. In June 1932, officials began to suspect an inside job perpetrated by someone the Lindbergh trials. Suspicion fell upon Violet Sharp, a British household servant at the Monroe home. She had given contradictory testimony regarding her whereabouts on the night of the kidnapping. It was it was reported that she appeared nervous and suspicious when questioned. She committed suicide on June 10, 1932 by ingesting a silver polish that contained potassium cyanide just prior to what would have been her fourth time being questioned. After her alibi was confirmed, it was later determined that the possible threat of losing her job and intense questioning had driven her to commit suicide. At the time, police investigators were criticized for what some thought were the heavy-handed police tactics used. Following the death of Wild Sharp, John Condon was also questioned by police. Condon's home was searched as well, but nothing was found that tied Condon to the crime. Charles Lindbergh stood by Condon during this time as well. He is the threatening of the branch. Investigation of the case was soon indulged. There were no development and little evidence of any sort. So police turned their attention to tracking the ransom payment. A pamphlet was prepared with the serial number on the ransom bills, and 250,000 copies were distributed to businessmen in New York City. A few of the ransom bills turned up in scattered locations, some as far as Chicago and Minneapolis, but the people spending them were never found. As per Executive Order 6102, both certificates were to be turned in by May 1, 1933. A few days before the deadline, a man in Manhattan brought in $2,990 of the ransom money to the exchange. The bank was busy and no one could remember anything specific about the person. He had filled out a required form which gave his name as J. Faulkner. The address applied was 557 West 149th Street in New York City. When authorities visited the address, they learned that no one named Faulkner had lived there or anywhere nearby for many years. U.S. Treasury officials kept looking and eventually learned that a woman named Jane Faulkner had lived at the address in question in 1913. She had moved after she married a German man named Chase Geisler. The couple was tracked down and both denied any involvement in the crime. An example of a okay, an example of a 1922 series $10 gold sheet. Okay, okay. The Lindbergh kidnapping was presented in the arts. Okay. Agatha Christie was inspired by circumstances of the case when she described the kidnapping of baby girl Daisy Armstrong in her Hercule Poirot novel Murder on the Orient Express, including a parallel of the death of Violet Sharp. And the other one is in Tom Clancy's novel and film the Lindbergh kidnapping is mentioned several times. And rather than third, baby is kidnapped in Mercy Merriman. The, kid, In 1981, the kidnapping and its aftermath served as the inspiration for Maurice Sendak book, Outside of the Outside of the Door. And in 1991, Stolen Away by Max Allan Collins is a thorough treatment of the case from the point of view of a fictional victim. The author examines several possible solutions and provides considerable support for them. Okay, that, that's it. Okay, so hope you guys see me later. See ya!